Hey guys, CombatEX on the FP VOD. And I'm going to tell you what I say at the starting of every video because I get at least like 10 comments regarding that. I say, alright, hi guys, this is CombatEX recording another FP VOD. FP standing for first person and VOD standing for video on demand. I used to say it like so often in my Starcraft 1 videos, and I started saying it sort of really slowly. Like if you watch my game 1 and 2, you'll see I say it really, really slowly. But then after you record like 150, 200 games, you just, start mumbling it, and then down the road, when you're at game 300 and whatever, this is technically like game 300 and something, but if you talk about StarCraft 1 or StarCraft 2, it's like game 4, or game 6, I guess. Game 7, actually. No, wait, game 6. Yeah, game 6. Sorry about that. After you start saying it that much, you just mumble it very fast, and hence get to what I say at the starting of every video. And this game I'm going to be doing a ZvP on Shakuras Plateau. Again, I'm just going to be showing you guys how to play standard Zerg versus Protoss. Nothing really too special. I'm a big fan of like Infestor Roach, and later on into Zergling Infestor Roach. I'm a big fan of that because it usually beats mainly Infestors, mainly Roaches, and I only get mass Infestors if they don't have Templar. And also another thing I like to do in ZvP is I like to get just like 4 or 5 Mutalisks, because it makes your opponent, again, this is kind of a metagame thing I do with Zerg, it makes your opponent think that you're going mass Mutalisks, and so they go mass Stalkers, and if they go mass Stalkers, Infestor Roach owns it. And so again, a little bit of a metagame I like to play with Zerg. And notice I went for a 14 hatch, and right when I went for a 14 hatch, the main thing you have to do is keep that drone at your ramp patrolling, because if you don't, then a cannon rush owns the shit out of you. And now usually you go 14 hatch, 14 pool, but I noticed he was going his gateway, so I have no real reason, and he's going cybernetics for all that good stuff, so I have no real reason to get my pool super early. I mean, like, the reason people do it is so you can defend off early pressure, and you can get your queens out a little bit faster, but it's not really that important, and I always forget that a drone beats a probe. I instinctively have to run because probes are the weakest out of the 3 workers. But, oh god, it feels so good knowing that your unit can actually beat another unit's worker, so all you have to do is attack it without trying to micro. So, that was pretty good. Anyways, as you can see, I'm still playing on my friend's account. He's low masters, because, again, my Zerg videos and turn videos are at best low masters. My Zerg is probably even the worst than my turn, and my Zerg is definitely my worst race. It would be probably low masters, very low masters, even high diamond, if anything. So again, I don't want any shit for why my Zerg's bad, because I know it's bad relative to Protoss. But regardless, I'm sure most of you guys watching, or at least the majority of you guys watching, are not low masters, so these videos hopefully will benefit you guys. Alright, so yeah, he's going first. Right now I see him going for a regular 1-gate expand. And also notice, if you rewind this video to right when I scouted him, I immediately made my overlords place in proper positions around his base. So I know that if he's doing some sort of airplay or any sort of like early shenanigans, I would be able to see it. So another thing all you Zerg players have to note is that whenever you scout your opponent, make sure you get all your overlords in good position around their base, so they can't get out without you knowing. At least with air and with ground, you should have a Zergling at the front of their base. And you'll see I really abuse the Zergling. And I want to talk about hotkeys or Zerg because I think it's really important to talk about hotkeys, because I think Zerg hotkeys are much more important than Protoss and Terran hotkeys, in the sense that it matters more on what you hotkey with Zerg than it does with Protoss and Terran. Like, you have to hotkey with all 3 races, but what you hotkey is more important with Zerg. Alright, this is how I do it, and this is how lots of... Oh, one quick thing. 6 minutes in, you always want to scout your opponent and suicide like an overlord to see what they're doing, because that's generally the time Void Rays, DT, or some sort of tech is coming, so robotics tech, even if that. So always send your overlord in roughly around 6 minutes to see what they're doing. And right now, yeah, I see them going for a regular 3-gate expand, so... these 2 overlords aren't even meant to live, they're kind of just meant to die. And notice what I'm doing with this Zergling. I think I can maybe make that overlord live, so I'm trying to make that Stalker attack with Zergling, which I succeeded in doing. So now, I tried my best to make that overlord live. If it dies, then you know what, screw it. It's not really a big deal, because I can't really do anything about that. Another thing, you want to connect creep from your main to your natural, because if Void Rays hypothetically do come, you want to quickly be able to make your queens switch from main to natural, depending on which base the Void Rays are going. So again, connecting your creep from your main to natural, very, very important. And you also want an extra queen spreading creep, also really, really important. And again, notice how I'm using every single Zergling to do something. 2 Zerglings on watchtowers, 2 Zerglings on 4 bases patrolling, and 1 Zergling at the front of his base. So I essentially have total map control, and that's what you need to do with Zerg, because Zerglings are really mobile, so you need to get constant map control. And yeah, so I know he's essentially going for a 3-gate expand, so I'm safe to get mass drones and just mass tech. I'm getting Rotoran because it's really standard. You need a Rotoran at this time in case some stupid timing push comes. And also notice when I'm placing my evolution chambers, you always want to have them in good place. And Zerg also requires the highest APM out of the 3 races if you're curious. A fun fact, if you guys want to know, it's really interesting. My Protoss APM, even though it's my best race by far, my lowest APM is actually with Protoss. And my worst race is Zerg, and my highest APM is with Zerg. It's kind of interesting how that works. My Zerg APM is around 160, 170. My Terran APM is around 140, and my Protoss APM is around 130. So, not even 130, like 120. So, yeah, like it actually does go like that. Your Zerg generally do need more APM than Protoss and Terran, because of creep spreading, injecting larvae, macroing, and just a bunch of other crap. And also notice this, I'm getting a spine crawler and a spore crawler at my main and natural. I think all Zerg players will benefit from getting a Zerg or a spore and a spine crawler at each base, because it really defends against DTs and void rays and any sort of zealot warp prism harassment. So I think it's very, very important to do that. And notice how I saw when he was pushing out, and with that I can make just mass units right when he pushes out, because they'll be out by the time he gets to my base. And also notice when I'm placing my overlords at my natural, I'm doing them so then if he actually goes for an all-in attack, then the overlords will suck some damage, and they will, so yeah, essentially suck some damage. And yeah, he has mass stalker sentry, so he's going. I honestly would like to say he's committing pretty heavily with this attack, because I know as a Protoss player, I'm judging by the 9-minute mark. If you're expanding and doing that, that's essentially off 4 or 5 gates, or 5 or 6 gates actually, and so I think that's quite a bit of units. Right now I'm getting my Spire, because again I want to do that meta game where you get just a little bit of Mutalisks, and they think you're overcommitting to Mutalisks, and so they go overcommit to Stalkers. And now, again, Overlords can't be seen on top of there, unless they have an OBS, and again, I didn't talk about my hotkeys yet, but I will in like a second. He killed my Overlord because he has an OBS. Okay, so now I know he has robotics facility tech. Again, you always want to know, like, he didn't show me any tech, but I know that the only way for that Overlord to die is if an OBS is on top of there, or like a Void Ray or something, but I know it was an OBS because it makes sense. Like, I don't see a Void Ray. And so, yeah, like, yeah, so I know he's going OBS, so I know he's going for like a 4 or 5 gate with OBS, and so I can be expecting Colossus now, and Corruptors are kind of the counter to Colossus, so again, it's kind of like I'm reading into what he's doing, and notice how I'm spreading it over here because I don't want that the Stalkers and Sentries, his army essentially, to kill me. And also, like I said, Protoss players need to have a pro patrolling both expansions, or all potential expansions for your opponent. Terran players need to have SCVs patrolling expansions to see when your opponent expands. And Zerg players, you need to have creep on every single expansion to know when the Zerg's expanding. And also notice what I'm doing with these Overlords. I'm getting them to spew creep around my whole base. So technically, I have creep around my whole main without actually having a creep tumor there. Again, small things like this, really, really important. I think creep spreading is actually really, really important, and it's underused by mostly anyone under Masters, because your units move a lot faster, which people really don't know how big that is. Units moving faster is actually a huge deal. And I don't really endorse his decision of staying at my base, because it's kind of stupid. I'm going to just bluntly say it, because like I'm just massing up an army, and okay, yeah, he can reinforce here, so I guess it's not all that stupid, but still, like, why not just be at your own base? Like, I don't see why not. And force fields are decent. I wouldn't really consider them that good, but you can't really get good force fields off when you're engaging in a huge army and a huge concave. And he does have more units than me, surprisingly. But I noticed, okay, yeah, another thing with Zerg in specific, you have to notice what unit composition your opponent's doing and counter it accordingly, because the way Zerg macro works is you like essentially shove out a bunch of units in like one like wave of units, or one wave of macro, I guess. And so I noticed that he was going mass Stalker, Sentry, Immortal, and so the counter to that is just mass straight up Zerglings, and so I'm going mass Zerglings. It's kind of the thing you have to do with Zerg when you're playing Zerg. Read your opponent's unit composition and crank out a bunch of units accordingly. And I know he's going mass Stalker, Immortal, Sentry, and so I can get mass Zerglings. And yeah, as you can see, it does rape the shit out of his army, because that is essentially the counter to that army composition. So that's one thing you want to note as a Zerg player, and always do that, because it's really, really important, and it helps a lot too. Macro. Hotkeys. So yeah, I get all my hatcheries. This is not. I know some Zerg players don't do this, and I'm talking Grandmaster level, but I know lots of Zerg players do this, so I figure it would be a good thing to do. All your hatcheries on one hotkey, and each queen associated with injecting larvae at each hatchery on one hotkey. So one queen per hotkey, and all you do is control what is it, V I think, not control, just click on your queen and press V on the hatchery and alternate that between all the bases, and that's how you do macro. And again, spine, sport crawler at each of my bases. And another thing, a subtle thing that I want you guys to know, all my queens are at the right of each hatchery. Now you guys might wonder, why is that? The reason for that is because then when I'm injecting larvae, I don't have to move my mouse at all. I just have to click, click, click. When I click V, click, or like double tap 3, click V, and then click on my hatchery, double tap 4, click V, click on the hatchery, etc. And I don't have to move my mouse at all. If your queens are at different positions, then when you double tap a unit, it goes to the center, and then you might have to move your mouse a little bit according to where your queen is. And so if you have all your queens on the same side of your hatchery, then you don't have to move your mouse, which does save you quite a bit of time, because this is essentially what you're doing this like 30-40 times per game. And so imagine if you save like a second every time, you're essentially saving 40 seconds worth of time, which is a lot. And now, again, getting my infestation pit. Again, I don't know the hotkeys for Zerg all that well. My Terran Protoss hotkeys I know better, so I don't know the hotkey for infestation pit. Now I do, it's I, and I remember that. And creep spreading, again, really important. You want to have one queen constantly spreading creep, and this is a way to spread creep. You control click on a creep tumor, and then it selects all the creep tumors, and then you just spam, what is it? I think it's C for all the creeps. And then it just spreads like all of them at once, and you don't have to keep clicking on individual creep tumors to spread creep. Once it gets a little bit spread out, then you might have to click individually, but you know, whatever, it's not even that big of a deal. And now I'm just waiting for my mass infestors. And again, infestors are I can't stress how good they are against Protoss. They are what, okay, like if infestors were like okay, if you had to consider infestors like, I have no idea how to explain it. They're so sexy. They're like, oh my god, they're like the Megan Fox of Starcraft. They're that sexy. Like, it's unreal. I don't know if you guys think Megan Fox is hot or not, but I think she's an absolute. I am gonna refrain from commenting because I don't think if I say some stuff, I think this video might get taken down. Regardless, infestors are very sexy, and I think all Zerg players should get infestors regardless of the matchup because they are so strong. And again, spreading creep. Look, notice how I'm like, it's 17 minutes in actually, so this is not really that good of creep spread. But again, Zerg's not my main race. I think all you Zerg players should get a lot better at spreading creep, and I think everyone watching my videos that plays Zerg should be better than my Zerg, because I think the advice I give while I'm playing is a lot better than my actual play. If that makes sense. I think it does make sense. And yeah, so just mass infestors. And again, I'm waiting for infestors. If you hypothetically to come onto my creep and to come engage me, I would wait for the infestors before I engage. And memorize infestor hotkeys. They're so important. Hotkeys are, I can't stress how important hotkeys are to memorize. And now notice the hive creep essentially around the whole my side of the map. And I do have a Zergling patrolling the top left base, and I have watchtowers, so I know when he's going to be expanding, and I have an overlord spewing creep at the third base he could potentially take. I think I have it there. I can't really see on the minimap. I think I have it there still. But yeah, so constantly spreading creep. I'm just waiting for him to engage. Again, kind of like what I say with my Protoss videos. Well, exactly like what I say with my Protoss videos. Constantly spread creep. There's no reason why you shouldn't be spreading creep. And sorry, not that. I don't say that with my Protoss videos. There's no need to engage. You need to constantly just wait for your opponent to attack you, because you have no necessity to engage. I'm going to be on 4 base. He's trying to take his third right about now. Zerg should be ahead by Protoss by 1 base. Ahead of Protoss by 1 base, and so what do you call it? Yeah, so I should be ahead of him by 1 base. So right now it is pretty standard, but I think I have a bigger army than him, so I'm gonna try to push in. And again, my opponent is master, so again, no, I don't want to shift from my opponent being bad. He's bad relative to my Protoss opponents, but still. All right, here we go. This is how I'm gonna do it. Again, you want your infestors to you don't want to wait for your infestors to cast their spells. Infestors should immediately cast their spells when the battle begins, because all their spells are spells that shouldn't be waited to cast. Like, you can't really wait to cast fungal growth, because then it's not doing the optimal damage as it should be. And so here we go. Okay, yeah, notice how I had my infestors at the side so they wouldn't get stormed. And again, not hallucinating, fuck, what do you call it? Neuroparasiting all the immortals and then fungal growthing everything else. I tried to even neuroparasite a Templar there, but it didn't really work. But again, as you can see, the immortals are essentially my units in this battle, and that essentially is what made me win this battle this badly, because again, those immortals would do so much damage against roaches, but if you have neuroparasite, then they're essentially your immortals and they do a lot of damage against stalkers. And again, notice how I'm macroing. I just constantly went back to my queens and just injected larvae in all my hatcheries and then just came back to the battle. That's how you guys should all be doing it. And again, they're all at the one side, so I don't have to move my mouse. It's so important. And now take out his third. I have him on 4 bases. He's still on 3. So again, I'm I think I'm essentially won this game. Again, Protoss don't like, you're not supposed to lose your army as a Protoss player, and if you do, you're significantly behind. And in this case, you're just dealing with third base, so he's very behind. And again, having a queen spread creep. Holy shit, that's a big tongue twister. And yeah, again, so just macroing. And another thing you guys want to know, as Protoss and Turan, once you're maxed, what you need to do is make more barracks and make more gateways or whatever you want to make to macro off. As a Zerg player, however, what you need to do is focus on spreading creep. That's your main goal. Right now I'm maxed, and my main focus is spreading, or not, fuck, oh my god, I'm making so many mistakes in this video. Not spreading creep, injecting larvae. That's your main focus as a Zerg player when you're maxed, because you essentially can't do anything else. Again, getting some macro attributes would be good. I think I should get 1 or 2. But your main focus should be spreading, or injecting larvae, because injecting larvae is essentially getting more barracks and getting more gateways. And again, spores and spines at every base. I can't stress how important that is, because again, 4 DTs will essentially come and own the shit out of you unless you have the detection there to notice you're getting attacked. Like, sure, you might even lose a hatchery, but at least you'll kill the 4 DTs. And people really underestimate killing 4 DTs for a hatchery. I think it's, sure, the Protoss still gets good dividends there, but you know, you don't lose as much as you think you lose, because 4 DTs is a pretty hefty investment. But yeah, once you're maxed as a Zerg player, all you really want to do is just massively spread creep and inject larvae. That's the main 2 concerns when you're maxed as a Zerg player. It's essentially the same thing as a Protoss, except it's a different style of being maxed. You don't really need to make gateways because you don't have gateways. The Zerg macro works in a really different way than Protoss and Terran, and I like it. It's really unique. And now again, his army's like so flimsy. I don't even think I need Infestors in this army, but again, just I'm gonna try to feedback. I'm just trying to neo-parasite his own Templar and storm his own shit. And again, look, BMing him. He's not even a good player. He's just some random scrub on ladder. And I'm just telling him to, you're easy, get the fuck out. Look at him. Fuck you, or fuck up. Whatever. I don't know. He can't even speak English anymore because he's so rattled. Yeah, this is kind of late. I don't know. I kind of already won the game. There's no real reason to BM here, but whatever. Just, you know, it's fun. Like, look at him. He's so mad. He's like, shut the fuck up. You're a fucking noob. Like, ugh. It's just really fun BMing the shit out of your opponents. I just find it fun. Like, I know so many people. I get tons of comments, and I do read them. I get tons of comments saying, "Oh, you shouldn't BM. You know, it's not really ethical." Blah blah blah. Fuck that, yo. It's so fun. Like, this is still a video game, and in a video game, BMing is amazing, and I love BMing. So, I know people are like, "Oh, you're not gonna get masses. You're not gonna go serious in this game if you keep BMing, because that's not how people do it." Who the fuck says I want to go like super serious in this game? I don't really give a shit. Like, I'm just doing this for fun, and I'm always gonna be doing it for fun. But anyways, hope you guys enjoyed this video. Again, look forward to more coming out. Comment and let me know what you guys think. My exams end August 18th, so that's when I'm gonna start streaming. And other than that, I really don't have much to say. Again, all you haters, take that finger, shove it up your ass. You know, that's pretty much it. Hope you guys enjoyed this. Look forward to more coming out, and peace out.